Hi folks, bit of a different video from me this time. I don't normally do cars, but I recently got my first ever modern battery electric vehicle. It's this lovely BYD Dolphin. Now for some reason BYD cars sold outside of China don't include the built-in dash cam, or outward facing camera as they call it, and that would normally sit just up there behind the rear view mirror. And furthermore, cars sold in the UK don't even include the wiring harness for the dash cam, although that is present in cars sold in some other countries. So what I'm going to try and do in this video is retrofit the official BYD dashcam and its wiring into my UK spec Dolphin. So let's see how I get on. Right, first of all, let's see what we've got here then. So we've got the cable, which has these funny proprietary looking connectors on. So it looks like a little mini coax and two power cables there. That's nice and furry sort of conduit stuff. And this must be the actual camera. Very small. And there is the camera. That's a lot smaller than I was expecting. It's got a bit of protection over the lens, which is nice. We'll leave that on until it's actually installed. There it is. First thing I'm going to do is turn off the child presence detection. I think is under vehicle notifications, cabin perception. There we are, off. Reason for that is I'm going to be sitting in the car for a while, moving around, and I don't want the alarm to go off. So that's that done. Right, now let's see if we can get this centre console. I should just pull off. There we are. It came off rather more rapidly than I thought it would. This section here looks like it will also just pull off, although that's coming away quite readily, isn't it? And we do have some wiring under here which looks like it wants to be disconnected. I'm going to need to disconnect these, but how is the question. Okay, there's a pushy latch on the side. Push that in and that pulls out. So do we have something similar up here? Okay, I've managed to get this one out. That's a little latch just there that you need to push in. I had to push it with a screwdriver. I couldn't really get onto it otherwise. And that released the plug and it then came out. That's the one for the wireless charging. But I'm still struggling to get these ones down here out. After a lot of faffing around, I did manage to get this one out as well. It was the same system, it's just a catch you have to push there. But it needed quite a lot of force, and again I found I had to push it with a screwdriver to get enough force on it to get it to unplug. But that did just come out relatively easily once I'd found the latch. Similarly, this one at the back, that was quite simple. That's just a latch on that side there, which I had to push in to release it. There's a couple on the other side of this central column, which I think I shall attack from the driver's side. Right, looking through from the driver's side now, that looks again like a similar type of connector. I'm going to have to put the camera down, unfortunately, to get that out, but that looks relatively easy to push the latch on and release. Well, there are actually two connectors there. The back one came out fairly easily, but now this one nearest the driver's footwell is giving me trouble. I finally managed to get it. This was the problematic one, and it's just got a latch on that side which you need to push in, and it's quite hard to get at when it's in position. I did finally manage to do it, and I've managed to get this centre console out. So now we can crack on. There's a row of connectors right in deep down in there. Not immediately obvious where the connector is. I can just about see a blue vacant connector through this gap here, where there is quite a big thick wiring harness going to get in the way. Right, I don't know I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this on the camera because it's very difficult for me to even see it in person, but way down in there is a vacant blue connector. Don't know if you can see that, because I can't see what I'm actually pointing the camera at now. Feel it. Can't grab it. That's got it. Crikey, that was hard work. So the 2 pins are to the left of the connector. So let's see if I can grope in there and get that plugged in. Right, so 2 pins to that side. Let's see if we can get this in. Good God, it's gone in. It's actually gone in. Well, not sure how I got it in, but I seem to have managed to get it in. That is never coming out, so I think I might as well put all the centre console stuff back in. Right, this is the first bit to go back in. There's no connectors on this, but we need to make sure the connectors are above it. Now, this bit. Just before I do this, let's make sure I've got all the other connectors. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 other connectors. They're all up here. And 3 connectors there. And the connectors will only go in the correct places because they're all different. So, oh, the sun's getting in my eyes now, I can't see properly. And this is going to be tricky because there's not much slack. One in. Two in. Four in. This black one. That one goes in there. We'll do that one last. That one goes in there. Which way round? That way round? Yes. In. That one goes in there. in, and that one goes in there, in. So they're all in. Now we've just got to manoeuvre this back into position now. And the little box lid still works. That is back. Now just this armrest to go on. And that is back. Right. That's right, let's make sure we can release the handbrake.
Please shift into P gear.
Yeah, that's fine.
Please shift into P gear.
Yeah, that works. Good. Yeah, that's working. Yeah, that's working. So I could check the wireless charging. Yeah, wireless charging's working. And check the SD card. Yeah, SD card is working. So, everything that was working before is still working. Now, somewhere in here, there should be a gap that leads through to this little piece of trim along here, which just flexes out of the way from what I've seen on the YouTube videos. So, yes, there's the hole. I can see my finger through there, you probably can't because of the camera angle, but in theory then, let's just untangle this wire a bit. In theory I should be able to pass this plug through that gap. Come on, you can see the plug there. Just got to get it past that bit of trim. Yep, are we through? Yep, now I pull on the plug, really. There we go. The wire is through. With, hopefully, minimal damage. So, the majority of this cable needs to come through here. With a bit of slack to enable me to neatly tuck it behind in there. So there we go. Now is that going to be long enough? Oh yes, that's going to be more than long enough. I think I may have to pull some back actually, or it's going to have loads of slack. In fact, it probably makes more sense to start from the top end, and so there's all the slack is at this end. Sure that came out easier the first time I did it. There we are. So that's where the dash cam goes, which I've just knocked on the floor. I've got to take this little bung out first. Yeah, a little rubber bung there. So let's pull off the little lens protector. It's nice and clean. Oh, there we are. That's gone in nicely. Got to come in from sort of there. The plug, the two pins go down. There we are. It wants to come out up there, doesn't it? Oh, that goes up there very easily. So. trim up here is very loose, that's easy to get in. It's a bit tighter into the corner, but it's gone in. It's gone into there. Now I need to get it behind the cover over the airbag here, but not interfering with the airbag. That doesn't want to go under, does it? We have to pull the airbag cover off actually. Get that bit more hidden in there really if I can. That's not ideal. We can pull that right down at that point, that's good. And now we're into the little channel alongside the door. So I can still see a little bit of the cable peeping through there, but it's coming down this edge, it's not interfering in any way with the airbag, so that's okay. Now it's just a question of tucking it in all the way down, I think. It sits in a sort of a groove in there, which is quite nice. But fiddly to get in. That seems to be in. Put a lot of this slack back in here. And we're done, I think. We are done. We probably have to do the reset thing then, do we? So it's not going to do it, is it? Should we try that again? Is it still responding? There we go. I wonder why it didn't work the first time. There we go, it's up. Reboot for the changes to take effect. Okay. Reboot again then. And we have a dashcam icon. And it's working. Give the windscreen a wipe. So there we go. Seems to be successful. One last thing I almost forgot to do. Replace the glove box. There we go, let's take it for a spin. Since the dashcam doesn't record any audio along with the video, I just thought while we watch this example footage I'd summarise my experience of installing the dashcam in my UK spec car. And overall I would say it was not easy, it was quite fiddly in places, but definitely doable if you're reasonably dexterous. The bits I found most difficult were unplugging all the connectors that go under the centre console and the centre armrest. That was mainly because I didn't know how the latches on those connectors worked, and they were all different connectors, so once I'd managed to get one out, I couldn't then apply that knowledge to the other connectors to get those out, because they were all different. And access was so restricted under there, I couldn't really see or feel what I was doing, so I grappled with those for a long time trying to get them out, but did eventually manage to do it. And the other bit I found quite difficult was, surprisingly, just passing the wire through from the area behind the glove box through into the centre console area where it plugs in down on the floor. For some reason it just kept catching on things and going behind things, and I just couldn't grab hold of it to pull it through. But again, I did eventually manage to do it. Apart from that, it was all relatively straightforward. I only needed a screwdriver just to remove those two screws that hold the little bin in place. Apart from that, didn't need any tools. Everything just pulled apart and pushed back together. Routing the cable round through behind the glove box and up the door frame and across the top was a little bit fiddly, but just managed to stuff it all in there. So yeah, it's relatively, no, I'm not going to say easy. It was quite tricky, but definitely doable. The information banner at the top of the screen, which sort of tells you what you're doing with your indicators and your lights and your brake and accelerator and things, it seems to me that it would make more sense to have that banner at the bottom of the screen. All you can see at the bottom there is sort of bits of the inside of the car. There's nothing useful down there. For my money, it would make more sense to have that banner at the bottom of the screen, and then you'd have more of the image used for actual picture. But anyway, I hope you found that video useful. Thank you very much indeed for watching.